So are we talking about the final episode or just the whole show, since it's just 6 episodes?
The whole show.
Alright. Yeah, so we're talking about the series Falcon Winter Soldier. Initially going in, I was like, fuck, it's only gonna be 6 episodes. I was kind of like, man, like, WandaVision got 9 episodes, and Mandalorian got 8. Come on, man. But I'm fine with the 6 episodes. It was clear, concise. They got to the point. There wasn't any filler. There were a few times where things moved a little too quick, but whatever. ADHD, who cares, you know? Sorry, we just finished watching the last episode, so we're a bit emotional. We kind of went through an emotional journey together. There was a lot of screaming. I guess quickly, episode 1, you see, you know, they're both struggling. Episode 1. Bucky's still going through the nightmares. You see him, you know, you see like I was supposed to say the one pass, sorry. You see his one like nightmare where he kills this young man, and then, you know, he's just chilling with the guy's dad, and it's like you as the audience know, and the old man doesn't, thinking he's just a young man who's nice to him, and then you're just like, you know. Then you see Sam struggle as pretty much the black man in America, you know, like trying to help his sister, get the loan and shit. So, yeah, you know,
trying to keep the family business afloat.
So being a black person in America, yes. So it was just kind of like, okay. But I wasn't surprised they went there because, again, he is a black man in America. You know, who cares that he's literally helped save the world? Because he's still a black
More
man.
than once.
More than... But again, he's a black guy in America. Like, I'm going to keep saying that. Episode 2... That was the one where the cops stopped them, right? Because we watched that together.
Yes.
Yeah, so episode 2, again, they're in the neighborhood. I think it was like Baltimore or something, Maryland, where you learn about the black super soldier. I mean, you learn about in the first episode with Bucky, but he brings Sam into to his house. Of course, Sam gets mad, and he's like, there's a black super soldier. Why didn't anyone tell me? Like, I'm literally in this thing. And then Bucky's like, you know, and, I mean, is it really white guilt or just part of his brainwashing and he didn't, like, think to really mention it because he's also already going through a lot, do you think?
I would say it's a mixture of both.
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily call it white guilt, but his own personal guilt, knowing the history those two had.
Right, right.
Because they explained that in an episode that him and Isaiah Bradley tussled before.
Right.
When he was the Winter Soldier.
Right, right. And I like how, like, to be that person, like, we're just focusing on race and not really talking about the little teenage girl. Like, but we all know about, that's the thing, like everyone's gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about race relations. I mean, yeah, but it's like we know. It's like the young kid is just like, I want a better world and everyone believes in me. Anyway, who cares? But we're talking about... Oh yeah, the second episode was also the one where, like, you fully meet John Walker. You meet this new, or was it the Deez Amaro said, the deformed Captain America with the
smushy face,
and what was it, like what did Amaro said, like a rotted potato, something like that. I mean, I love Deez Amaro, but yeah. So you get to meet John Walker. You see how, like, he's a good soldier. You gotta remember, he's a good soldier, you know? Which, I mean, I don't, like, deny that him as a regular soldier is good, but, you know, the ego thing of being called Captain America, that's what really, like, you know, got to his head.
Cap doesn't need to be a soldier. Cap needs to be the conscience of the country.
Yeah.
That's why he couldn't be Cap.
Right. Again, it was also an ego thing, because he was... Whereas Steve Rogers didn't like doing the photo shoots and, like, the interviews, he's just like, ugh. You know, like, even with, like, was it the first Avenger, where, you know, he's doing all those news shoots where he's, like, on the treadmill pretending to be, like, he's just like, ugh. Or, like, the shows where he's like, I'm gonna pretend to punch Hitler. He's like, ugh, you know, that's, like, not what he wanted to do. Mm. Whereas this Cap, like, loved that stuff. He's like, hey, Captain America here. Hi. Like, he was very much about, like, TV interviews. Captain America here. Ha, okay. You know, I sound like Joe Swanson. Hey, Peter. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. Like he said in one of the later episodes that he lives by the government's mandates. As we very well find out in other Marvel movies in the past, that whatever good intentions our government has isn't always the right choice.
But again, also Steve Rogers defied the government. He's like, no, I'm not going to sign the Sokovia dealy majigger, you know? Yeah.
Because you're putting the cart before the horse, and that's exactly what the fuck happened, because then we find out what.
Right.
Oh, guess what? There's Hydra.
Well, the Hydra was in
S.H.I.E.L.D. Not only just S.H.I.E.L.D., but in high-ranking offices of the U.S. government.
Wait, so you're telling me white supremacists are in Congress right now? That's crazy! I would never guess. Oh my god, that's insane.
Moving on.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was episode, and then, like, what happened in episode 3? Like, cause it's such a cohesive story that I don't really see it as separate things. Oh, episode 3, was episode 3 the one where, like, he gets his ass kicked by the Wakandan women? Or was that 4? No. What was 3? No. What happened in 3?
3 was when they start running around in,
3 was when they broke out Zemo, and we get that dance thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they started running around in that, what did they call it? The island that they went to?
Yes, yes. I forgot the name, but yes. That's when they broke out Zemo and they did all that shit. Yeah. Episode 4 is when John got his ass kicked by the Wakandan women, which I love that he was getting his ass kicked. And Bucky's like, looking good, John! It's like watching your school bully getting their ass kicked and you go, like telling them things that counselors have told you. You're like, maybe you should have done things to make them want to bully you, you know? Like...
Yeah. But...
yeah. And then...
Bully is the wrong term to use technically for him.
Right.
Only because bully in terms means like he had some type of power over them at some point. When
True.
He never did.
True.
All he ever wanted to do was be down and be like what Old Cap was, and neither one of them are trying to have that, because guess what?
Right.
These dudes have been there, done that several times over. So
right.
They got zero patience for whatever it is you think you know.
Right, exactly.
They've already done it. So they were trying to hear this guy.
Yeah. Well, it's like the thing with episode 2 where John Walker was like, you know, trying to win the two of them over, which I understand, because they're like, well, you guys were, you know, Steve Rogers' closest friend, like, I know I can never replace him, fine. But then it's, again, like the thing that, I was about to say Anthony Mackie, not wrong, but when Sam Wilson was like, he's always got that one line, because he was like, trying his best.
Doing good, and then you always go one step over.
Yeah, because Bucky was just like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And then Sam was like, no, you know, because, you know, Sam has, like, his counselor background and all that stuff. He's like, let me hear this person out, even if I don't agree with them. Let me hear them out. Which, again, is why people like Sam so much, because he's willing to listen to you, whether you're right or wrong. And then, again, trying to, like, empathize and kind of, like, you know, again, with his counselor thing of, like, not really scolding you, but just kind of, like, see where you're coming from. You know, like, a very, like, you know, again, why... Well, like, as a regular human being, you would kind of relate to Sam a little bit more than everyone else, because obviously Super Soldier Serum, And he's trying to hear him out, but then what did he say? He said something like pretty much like, you can be my partner, but, like, he said it, like, pretty much he was like, you can be my black guy, even though I have a black guy here. Yeah, I mean, he, like, said it without saying it kind of thing, you know?
There's always that one line.
Yeah. And then... Before we go into episode 5 and 6, because I'm going to read this tweet I saw that said, Steve Rogers is what America believed it was, John Walker is what America truly is, and Sam Wilson is what America should be. And I love this tweet because that hits the nail on the head for all three of them. Like, that's exactly it.
All I have to say to that is,
Yeah. I read that and I was like, I need to tell everybody. But so episode 5, I'm kind of like, well, episode 5, it gets heavy, you know, and a lot of dumb people were like, this show, like initially they were already annoyed with the show, which I'm like, why are you watching, you know, like, yeah.
Before we get into the heavy stuff,
what
overall,
right?
What people fail to realize is that
there's a black man in this show. There's a black guy in this show.
There is a context that all of this was written in, and I'm gonna be doing my research on these writers, so I'm gonna look up some of the other stuff they've written.
Right.
For other things, not just Marvel, but just because.
Yeah, I've never heard of them before, so I don't know.
I'm gonna look these guys up, but the context is deep down. Myself being a former serviceman.
I thought you were saying a former black man. I'm sorry. Sorry. I was like, where is he going with this? Me as a former black guy. Former? Sure.
But the context I was going with is the fact that
being a black man in America.
Being a black man in America and a serviceman on top of that, you feel like you're still not good enough to wear the uniform that you've bled in several times over.
Mm-hmm. For a country that your people have built. To say the very fucking least. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, episode 5 and definitely episode 6. But episode 5, that episode was like an hour long. I mean, credits aside. That episode was like a full hour. Because every other episode has been like...
just under 40 to 50 minutes.
Something like that, yeah. So that one was a little bit longer. It was funny because at one point we paused that episode and we noticed, we were like, oh, we're at the 46-minute mark and there's still more left. Mm-hmm. Because they had to, you know, really hammer in.
And set the tone.
Right, because even from episode 1, even from the end of Endgame, Sam being handed the shield, besides us as fans of the comics and all that stuff, knowing like, yeah, Sam was going to get the shield anyway, Falcon was going to be, I was supposed to say Falcon was going to be a Winter Soldier, Falcon was going to be Captain America, we knew that, and even people who say they know the comic, they're still like, no, blah. Anyway, those people aside, because they all fuck off, we knew going into this show, as much as I joke around and say it's a buddy cop show and stuff, we knew it was going to be pretty serious, because one, besides it being Marvel, two, again, you're looking, again, like, just really to just keep talking about race, but you are looking at a character who obviously is black and is gonna, like, take over a very large mantle. A mantle that's been, wow, I was about to say been done did it, so there goes my brain. A mantle that has been held by a white man for the longest time. And the fact that... the fact that the entire majority of the show was just him as Falcon, him meeting with Isaiah Bradley, and in episode 5, Isaiah was like, hey, you know, like, that's great if you want to be Captain America. And, like, and he said, he was like, what was it, his line? It was like, they're not going to allow a black man to be Captain America. And no self-respecting black man will want to take that. Because, you know, in this country, as we literally currently see how they treat black people, it's like, why...
Tuskegee experiments, look them up.
And it's like, why, you know, it's one of those things of like, why would you want to, like, represent this country that fucking hate you, you know, to be very, like, just flat out, you know? And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, obviously, I get that, but it's like, I still want Sam to be Captain America. Besides it being canon with the comics, all that stuff, it's like that tweet says, it's that Sam is what America needs to be. Because, again, he's empathetic. He gives a fuck. He's not about, you know, like, hi, interviews, what's up, you know? He's just more like, no, we need to fix problems. Like, he actually, he gives a fuck. I was about to say he's kind of like AOC, but I mean, like, he's, you know, like, above that. But, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing where, like, you have, per se, a common person, because he does not have the super serum, you know.
He's the everyman trying to feel
right
out what the world needs to heal.
Right.
Whereas this other guy is trying to be Team America World Police.
America, yeah. He's definitely America. Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, episode 5 was very heavy on that. Like, and a lot of dumbass chuds were like, they're talking about racism. Don't talk about racism in my Marvel thing. And it's like,
nope, sorry. You're not gonna do Star Wars like you. You're not gonna do Marvel like you did Star Wars.
Right.
Fuck you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
This is about race.
Right. So yeah, episode 5 very heavy on the subject of older black man who's been through the super serum experiment, all that shit. Still got the strength and all that stuff because we've seen in previous episodes. Like, he showed, like what happened with this? I don't know. It looked like he got, like, a thing punched in his stomach, or...
They were literally extracting blood and bone from him to recreate the super soldier thing.
Right.
Like I said, Tuskegee experiments, yet told through a Marvel lens.
There was, like, that woman who they experimented on, and that's, like, she was, like, the I don't want to say patient zero, but she was like she had cells that didn't die,
yes.
And
she's the real Mystique. Yes.
Yeah, and then like they use her for experiments and like
and
vaccines
like
and all that stuff. It's like again, it's like, yes, we're talking in a fantasy world of, you know, super soldiers, but like they're
a lot of this shit is rooted
based
in
on real. And again, because especially like, if this obviously wouldn't make sense if like they were talking about this in like WandaVision or something like that. But especially something like Falcon Winter Soldier, and again, mainly the main subject of this is really Captain America. Like, not like Steve Rogers Captain America, just the person Captain America, like the idea of Captain America. And so, of course, it's, especially in this day and age, it's gonna, like, race is gonna end up being the subject of it. And so, you know, again, like, after last week's episode, we're like, alright, like, fuck. Like, after watching, me and him were like, yeah, fuck. But yeah, it's like I said, what was it, like, episode 2, where, like, you know, Bucky and Sam were having an argument, and then the cops stopped them. They're like, sir, show us your ID, sir. And you're like watching it like, God, you know? And then like Bucky's like, don't you know who he is? And then the guy was like, he's like, oh, sorry, Mr. Wilson. Like, you almost shot an Avenger, you little shit. You know, it was like, oh God. Like, I remember I watched that, like, before I watched it again with you, and I was like, like, I knew they weren't gonna shoot him, but it's just like, in those episodes of, Doctor Who, when they went to 1950s Alabama, and I was like, please don't hurt them, like,
stay in the ship,
right, get in the TARDIS, just get in
don't go outside, stay in the TARDIS.
Yeah. Like me watching things like that, I'm like, anyway. So then now we watch the finale, episode 6, Falcon Winter Soldier, and he was like, I hope it's not a Smallville thing where we see him in the suit for like 2 seconds. I was like,
and then it's over because I would have been pissed.
Yeah, but they started the episode with him in the suit, and bitch, he looks so good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that they kept with the wings, obviously. You were happy he got Red Wing back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got 2, technically, because the other little thing came out later on.
Oh, yeah, to push the armored vehicle.
The armored vehicle up.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
that was important.
Right. And his wings are just, like, so
angelic.
Pretty. Yeah, it's great, because then he, like, picked her up, and the way how he landed, too. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I was being an asshole, being like, black people as angels, you know? Yeah. I mean, if Lil Nas X can go from heaven to hell, I mean, you know. Sorry, I'm sorry. I really have to stop making horrible jokes. But that episode was great because it's like, okay, we're defeating people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I love how we're like, okay, fine, whatever superhero stuff over here. We're just like, we're going to talk about race because fuck that shit. So once Sam saved people and then the senators were coming up to him and be like, thank you, Sam, for doing your thing. What can we do to help? Thinking that he's going to do, like, thinking it's probably going to be one of those, like, no, you've done all you can. I've got to go fly. You know, like that kind of shit. But instead, he's like, all right, I'm gonna let y'all motherfuckers know. He straight up was like, all right, so use a bitch. Like, okay, it didn't come off like that, but I mean, like, that's how I would be like that. I would be like, okay, use a bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. But really. So he laid it out. It was amazing because he gave this speech news cameras were everywhere, so it literally captured in 4K 360, you know, pretty much saying like, hey, don't call the girl and her people terrorists, because even I was calling her a terrorist, because technically what they're doing is terrorism, but that's not the point. Is that, because, yeah, call them a terrorist, but then he said, well, your peacemaking weapons, what are you to them? And then I like that he said, oh, calling people terrorists, thugs. I was like,
Yes.
oh.
He definitely made sure to put that last point out there.
Yeah.
And looked at the one when he said that thug part.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we always get looked at as those bad dudes or suspicious character or some other non sequitur to explain away our inhumanity.
Right. And then he said that, which already we were like, yes. And then the senator guy said some shit. I mean, again, it doesn't matter.
He was trying to explain to him, saying that you don't understand. These are big problems.
Right. He's like,
above you. Right. You don't understand.
And he straight up
the
said
struggles that they're going to, and he's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
He's like, but
guess what?
Yeah.
Now you know how it feels.
Right.
To be in a helpless position.
Exactly.
Where you have no idea how to handle it.
And you are screaming for help, and no one is able to help you. Yeah.
And your back's against the wall, against a force that can literally destroy half the planet. Mm-hmm. Now, it's your turn to step up. Right.
And then he said the thing, like, again, whatever the fuck the senator said. And then Sam said, like,
tell me what it is I don't understand.
Yes.
I am a black man wearing the stars and stripes. Carrying the stars and stripes.
And then we had to pause the episode because
I lost my goddamn mind. Straight up, bullet, all that. Yes, I'm West Indian, so I was going wild, crazy.
Screaming. Very loud screaming. I mean, he wasn't the only one. I was. But it was like a shouting match we were having at nobody, really. Yeah, we were both screaming. Startled my mom a little. But I mean, like, you know, whatever. But yeah.
It was the third heart attack we had gave her.
You're not going on a motorcycle! Sorry, that's our own thing. Anyway, so yeah, like, Jesus Christ. I will be the death of her, sadly enough. Anyway, yeah. Because already, like, he was dropping facts. Like, you know, one after another.
Heavy shit.
But the fact that he said, I am a black man carrying. I love that he said carrying the stars and stripes. And I was just like, holy fuck. Like, the way how he said it. And then, obviously, him screaming. Again, him understanding it, being a black man who at one point did carry the stars and stripes for this country, who, as we've said, does not give a fuck about him, you know, which is just fucking hell, you know. Yeah, and then, God, so yeah, we had to take like what, 5 minutes after that, because we were like, oh my God.
Felt like forever.
It did feel like forever, because we were freaking out. Tears welled up in our eyes. We had to wipe it away. We are not exaggerating. It dead ass happened. It's like after we were starting to calm down, we were like, shit, we probably should have like put up my camera and did one of those like watch as we react kind of things, because it was wild. Like when he busted in through the glass as Cap, we were like, yeah, you know. Ooh. Then he was giving the speech and we were like, oh my God. Like it was literally when you look up on YouTube, like, Endgame reaction to, you know, like, Cap like, carrying Mjolnir, and then the fact of everyone coming back.
Yes.
Like, that, it's two people.
It was a nerdgasm.
Yeah, yes. It's like, this was like a nerdgasm / like, us as people of color and you as a black man watching this, like, again, nerd shit, super shit aside, us as people who have dealt with some fucking racism in our life, we watched that and we were like, that's what I'm from! Like, it was very much like
vindication.
Yeah. Yes. It was very much a, like, I'm shaking someone being like, this is what I'm talking about! You know? Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
It will still go over people's heads.
Of course.
But guess what? It didn't go over your guy, Wilson's head. Not Wilson. The fake Cap's head.
Oh, John Walker.
John Walker. Then go over his head.
Oh yeah, because when we paused
in the middle of the speech, we paused it,
and he's like
freaking the fuck out.
It was like
you saw the resignation in his face and understanding of
that was white guilt. That was white guilt that you saw in his face.
The stupid shit he did.
Yeah.
And what it caused.
And why he is not Captain America, and why Sam Wilson is always Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I showed you the comments on his post where people are like, "This is my Captain America," you know?
Yeah.
Well, because everyone, when John Walker was introduced, people would just post up like pictures of Steve Rogers and be like, "This is my Captain America," you know? Ooh, burpage. But yeah, so he said that. So then we paused and like died for like 5 minutes to recover. Then we, rewatched the whole speech again. So, and then it ended like, so then in the speech, he also was kind of like, hey, like with an email, you can like knock down, rainforests. You can do blah blah blah. Like you
feed 1 million people.
Yeah, the flick of a finger. Call. Yeah, with all that stuff. And they say when you're making the decisions, who else is in that room with you? Is it people it's actually going to affect, or it's more people like you? And I'm like, I'm just like I'm like grabbing him, like, just having my lovely moments.
Yep.
Again, funny enough to bring back the whole thing about Congress and how there are some normal people in there, and then there are, CrossFit cunts in there, This will save me from COVID. Okay, ma'am. Very smart, ma'am. Anyway, like that, there's that speech. And then I love how, whatchamacallit, like, I love that after was so serious and heavy. And I love that Sam walks away from everyone like, bitch, I'm done talking. And it was it was televised, obviously. And then they show that Isaiah is watching him as Captain America on TV saying all this shit, and Isaiah's watching it like, and you understand why he was doubting it, of course, as an older black man. He's been through enough. He's like,
I'm done. Yeah. I've gotten the raw deal, and I don't want to deal with you people anymore. And you sicken me.
And pretty much telling someone of a younger generation, like, hey, we tried it, it's not going to work. I don't think, like, not to, like shit on your parade, but I don't think it's going to work for you, so I don't think you should try, especially for this thing, because look what happened to me, da-da-da. Right. But instead, he's like, no, like, he can do better, and that's why we love Sam Wilson, because we know he can do better.
As he quoted,
yeah,
our ancestors built it. Now, be damned if they tell me I can't fight for it.
Exactly.
Fucking right.
Exactly.
Don't ever let anybody tell you can't.
Yeah.
This is our country, too.
Yeah. And, like, I love that after that whole speech, it was heavy as fuck, and then Bucky was like, sorry, I was texting. You said something about, like, being black and carrying the stripes. So he was just kind of like, Bleh. And then I liked that while he was walking away, walking towards Bucky, he gave John Walker, like, the head nod. Kind of like a bitch.
Like, we good?
Like, we good? Like, and John Walker's kind of like, I'm a pussy. Oh, he's a great actor. I don't hate him. His
acting was awesome.
Yeah, he's good at us hating him.
What people failed to realize, everything he did was on purpose.
Of course.
Did not get any redemption, nor was he supposed to.
No, he's not supposed to.
Very end.
The very
when he teamed up with Bucky to stop the people being kidnapped.
Right, because he realized he's like, oh, like he had like he's like, okay, because it's the thing of like it sounds cheesy, but it's like, oh, if you go down that path, you're just as bad as them. You're kind of like, I mean, like it's true, but it is like it's overused. That's why. Right. But I have to say, like, I can't wait for, like, I guess the next Marvel phase. To see him. Oh, and the fact that the episode ended and it said Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And I was like, they did it. Oh, like, they go down to where the sister lives and they're, like, having a cookout and all that shit. And then Bucky's there with, like, his arm and everyone's hanging off of it. And then, like, Sam's sister's, like, right by. We were like, ah! He's like, stop flirting with my sister. I love it, though. I love it because it was like, hi, I'm Bucky. She's like, hi, I'm Sarah. Like, I was like, oh!
Hi, Sarah.
Right? And then Sam's like,
Like, yo, what's going on? Like, yo.
yeah.
Keep your old ass hands off.
Motherfucker, you are like 114 years old. You better stop.
You better chill.
Oh, and then the what's the thing that the word Sam used? I think he said resolution, because he said, you're not helping, you're avenging.
Yes.
So he finally went and spoke to the old Asian man and was like, hey, your son was murdered by me. And I'm glad they actually, like, showed a little bit of their conversation, because a lot of times, like, it would have just been, like, him going in.
Movie trope is...
Yeah, like, him going into the old man's apartment and then just, like, cutting to, like, the next day.
Right.
But instead, they really showed the conversation they had. They probably could have extended the scene a little bit longer, but we all knew what was going to happen. Like, where they had it was fine, was explaining it. The old man started crying, made me sad, because I was like, I can't stand seeing sad old people. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, so then he's like, I'm good, you know? Because, again, he took Sam's advice, which, again, brings back to the whole thing of, this is why Sam is Captain America. Because, again, his counseling background. Because even when he was talking to Carly, and he got her to, like, not fight him, and got to, like, listen to her, you know, because it's the thing of, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. Wow, my brain just stopped, sorry, it is late at night. It's the thing of, like, hey, even though, again, you don't agree with these people, like, just hear them.
Just hear them out.
Just hear them out. And it's a lot of times, like, I say that, I'm like, there's a lot of people in this world I do not agree with. But I'll, like, hear their point as fucking wrong and horrific they are and racist as shit as people are. I'm a type of person where, like, I want to see where you're coming from, as wrong as you are. And I'll hear it, and I'll go, I see where you're coming from, but no. You know? It's like, I'm that kind of person where it's like, it's even the thing of, like, you being that racist, it's like the shit when we have to, like, drive through certain parts of, like West Jersey or Pennsylvania, where it's like, yeah, if I lived in this country-ass fucking shit where my neighbor is fucking 10 miles away, I would also think that someone's trying to steal my job, because there's no one to fucking talk to. You know, like, it's like me having...
No one to talk to.
Because it's like, my neighbor is over there! How would I know if someone's different, you know? Anyway, yeah. The small business... Anyway, I'm gonna stop being that person. But, you know what I mean? But again, like, Sam listened to her. She said her point, and even I'm like, while she's explaining her thing, I went, I get where she's coming from, but now you're going into terrorism. Remember I said that? Yeah. Where it's like, girl, I get where... Okay, I'm with you at this point. But then she's like, well, if no one's going to listen to me, I might as well just bomb everyone. It's like, no, wait. You had a good point. And then you're like, well...
You can't fight fire with fire.
Yeah, it's like, well, I might as well just...
Fire with water.
Right. And Sam was hearing her out. And then, of course, John Walker had to be like, Carly, I'm here to arrest you. And it's like, fuck, bro. And then he ruined the moment. And then she thought, you know, all that stuff. You know, and again, that's why. And also... again, with the whole thing about Sam being a good counselor and stuff, is that Bucky didn't tell anyone that he was still having nightmares, not even his therapist. No. But when Sam, like, asked him, are you still having nightmares, he admitted to it. He's, like, the only person.
Admitted to it, yes.
Because, like, excuse me, God, burping. Because Sam's the only one who truly gets what Bucky's going through, because they both obviously fought Thanos together.
Yes.
You know? So anyone else, like, yeah, if he's telling his therapist that, they'll be like, okay, well, try not to do that. Or, like, count to 10. Look at, you go outside, touch some grass. It's like, they're not gonna fucking get it, you know? It's like, but telling Sam that, Sam's like, yeah, I get it. And also, that was also part of episode 5, where he, like, Bucky, as a white man, apologized.
Yes.
And literally handed him the shield.
It's like, no, never did we ever consider the complications of giving the shield to a black man here in America.
Yeah.
I apologize.
He's like, I'm sorry. And hands him the shield. And it was like, yes. Yeah, because episode 5 was a lot of us being like, yes. Okay, yes.
It was priming us for this sexy speech that we're about to get in episode 6. I was not expecting that.
Because I love how episode 5 was us going, yes. Yep. It was like that. That was like us watching it. And then it was funny because, like, as we're about to fire up this episode, I jokingly said, how much are we gonna, like, how much is this episode gonna make us cry? And I was joking about that, and I was really more referring to, like, how good is he to look in the suit? And then the episode happened, and we're like, oh my god! Like, falling on one another, shaking one another, screaming, like, ah! Like, literally, like, having that, like, oh my
Losing
god!
our goddamn
Yeah,
minds.
like, ah! You know? Like, I told you, the meme of, like, the little girl screaming, yeah, that was us. Ah! You know? Like, that was it, yeah. And I have to say, like, 6 episodes, clear and concise, they got their shit out. You learn a little bit more about Bucky, and Sam has become a full 3-dimensional character now.
Yes, he has.
Besides just being like that black guy with wings helping Cap, who just conveniently helps him every so often, you know, that kind of stuff.
No longer that guy.
Right. But he is that guy.
No, yeah, he's no longer that guy,
but
he is Captain America.
Exactly. Oh, and then in the end, where he goes back to Isaiah and then takes them to the Captain America museum, and they put up a statue of him to remember him, to be like, so now, like, no one's gonna forget the contributions he made to help out, you know, America and stuff like that, you know? I mean, yeah.
Yes, he was part of failed experiments, but doesn't change the fact that he lived by their mandates too, and was forced to suffer for it. A price way too big for one man to bear.
Remember when I pointed out, oh, a lot of people are getting their picture taken with Sam at the cookout, and then he just shouted at me, yeah, don't you remember Obama's first term? It was nothing but photo shoots. And I was like, what a way of comparing that.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong.
If I could go back in time, I would get a picture with that dude.
I mean, it's Obama. Exactly. Black hair Obama. Not...
So, and sprinkles of pepper?
Not doing podcasts with Springsteen Obama. Doing podcasts with Springsteen Obama is like... He's like, that's what I do! Did you see that one where he threw the basketball and just gets it perfectly in? And he leaves the gym going, that's what I do! And I'm like, what is it that you do? What is it? What is it? What is it? Like, throw a basketball. Sir, what is it that you do? What is... hello? I'm a terrible person. What is it? He's like, that's what I do. He has to just listen.
Going back.
You have to just listen to my Obama impression.
Going back.
Yes. Jesus.
He gave him his just due by making sure they remembered his sacrifice.
Exactly. I was about to say Obama. Sorry. You're just gonna hate me.
It was important.
It's late.
It was important.
It really was important.
Because it's mending the hurt of the old generation.
Right.
And letting them know that the fight isn't over. And there's still someone out there willing to pick up the mantle and continue to fight for what's rightfully ours.
Exactly. Let's talk about how good that suit is.
Yeah, that shit is sexy.
It is good. I mean, it's straight from... everything.
Straight from the comic, yes.
I was gonna say, yeah, literally everything straight from a comic, but you get what I mean. Like, they didn't really tweak too much about it. That's what I meant.
Yes, they didn't reinvent the wheel. They kept the aesthetic of the neck cowl thing.
Yeah.
You know, leaving out the ears.
Of course.
Giving him the eye goggle thing and all the other stuff. And improving the capability of his wings, because he was moving very, very nice. I was able to do some moves that he never could do with his old suit. Like, for instance, when he was fighting Carly, and she tried to overpower him, and he dug his wings into the ground to hold his ground against her.
Do that. Yeah.
You know, that's new. That's definitely something, you know, his old suit could never do.
Right.
That's why I said it reminded me something like, you know, angelic, like with like archangel shit, you know.
Yeah. Because I like in the Winter Soldier movie, his wings were very like geometrical, because they like folded into the backpack kind of stuff.
Right.
And then
these wings have a little bit more romance,
finesse, fierce.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get Wakanda to make your tech. It comes out flawless.
I mean, it's good. What? Black people designing things? What's that like? I'm like, I don't know, like, wait for white kids to make it look like shit 5 months later.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
I'm gonna show you this dance. The crip walk.
No.
Oh, Zoomers.
It's getting late.
It's getting late.
Let's wrap this up.
Anyway, Falcon Winter Soldier, one of the best things that Marvel has put out. I have to put this... Okay. Like, Infinity War Endgame aside, my favorite thing of the entire Marvel thing is the Winter Soldier movie.
Yes.
It is my favorite one. The way how, everything... The Cap stealth suit is my favorite thing, because also Chris Evans looking fine, you know? Like, but also just, like, it felt more realistic compared to everything else, and, like, I get it, it's comics and everything's fantastical, and a lot of people were like, you just because you like Christopher Nolan and Batman, like, shut the fuck up, you know? Anyway, but that felt a little bit the most realistic of all the other ones. And then, like, I liked Infinity War, but they lost, so of course I'm like, it's good, but I was also trauma.
Nobody wants to remember the hurt.
Yeah, and then Endgame, because the part where he's, like, on your left, again, Sam, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna, after we get off of this, I'm gonna play that video where everyone's cheering, because I need some happiness after this episode was so heavy.
But it ended on a good note.
It did end on a good note.
Like I
it's
said,
good.
For me it was vindication.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Others is just... You know, a heavy scene, and it's hard to deal with, and...
But it needed to be said. That's the thing. Like,
yes.
It needed to be said. It needed to be... Yeah.
That was the main narrative of this whole show, because, like, in the beginning, he was like, I just want you to understand that I did what I thought was right by giving away the shield. But then, going through all this stuff, he realized he was wrong, and that no one else deserves it but him.
Exactly. Which is why Steve chose him.
Exactly. He just had to go through the long way.
Exactly.
To figure it out.
It's like...
Not that he didn't
believe in himself, but he knew that others would not believe in him.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's like you had to, like... As much as you
had to go on this journey with him.
You also had to see a piece of shit like John Walker be the thing that you're supposed to be incorrectly for you to be like, I got it. You know,
because it wasn't mostly for the audience. It wasn't for the people in the show. It was for you, the audience, to understand the struggles he's going through.
Right.
And understand why he has to pick up this mantle.
Right. And
why it is important.
Right.
He carries it.
Exactly. Which is why I really like this, like, mini-series that they did. This is second to Winter Soldier. Anything that says Winter Soldier and it's like my favorite, but yeah, pretty much it seems like it. But anyway, yes, Falcon or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, you know, high marks,
all around,
high marks, exactly. All right.